Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Glow Up Method. This is the place we talk all things about life. We talk about things that help us in our personal growth development, our self-empowerment and improvement. It's all about getting in alignment with ourselves, exploring, rediscovering who we are, all in this effort and this goal to live a life that makes us proud. Hi, my name is Natasha. I'm really excited to be here. I am a recovering people pleaser, and of course, I still dabble in that area, but I have had much improvement. I am here today to talk about the emotion and feeling of the day for me, which has been disappointment. Like overall, kind of like it's been a good day, but I just have had this kind of disappointed feeling inside, and it's taken me a good bulk of the day to kind of analyze really kind of what was my experience today. And for those of you who are just tuning in, I am recently in the very early stages of getting a divorce after being married for 25 years, more than half of my life. I am the proud now single mom of 4 kids. They are my air, my water, my everything. I'm so blessed that at this crazy time, they have all decided to live here with me, and they spend 99.9% of their time here with me. And so how lucky can I be for their trust in me, their love, and their support, especially when they know mama doesn't have a job. So, I really do appreciate all the ways in which that they've helped step up. And I just have to say that, like, this is a really difficult thing. And while Chris and I really were not like there, we had moments and that we were beautiful, but they were far and few in between. And I hold on to those beautiful moments, and I wanted those beautiful moments to never end. I wanted that to be the majority and what we lived to be the minority. And unfortunately, it was the opposite. And like right now, as I'm dealing with the loss, it's like everything that was good is highlighted in me. And everything that maybe I didn't do enough is really coming to the surface. Like, could I have tried better? Could I have done more? And it's like I almost forget some of the things that fundamentally just began, like they always had an impact on me. But when I began my healing and my self-worth and self-care and self-empowerment journey, when I began doing that, I realized in the process that I was a real big bully. And the person I was the biggest bully to wasn't anybody out on the street or anybody within my home. It was myself. And so as I learned to love me, like I said, I have my little rock here, that my reminder, kick everything here, of the love for myself. This was a gift from my late auntie, and technically my uncle was the messenger to give it to me. He had seen it after she had passed, and he's like, I have something for you, and I know this is for you, and I don't know why, and it won't make sense, and it didn't make sense for a long time, but he said, just keep it with you, and you'll figure it out. And one day I did, and it brought me to tears, because I never knew what love was. I had always, even as a little girl, was like, nobody loves me, nobody loves me, nobody loves me, nobody loves me. I had a lot of abandonment issues. I had a lot of just issues in general that I really just kind of stuffed and held in, because I was thrust into this role to parent my parents, save people when I was a very young age, like literally. And that experience left me feeling really unloved. And, if ever I broke down or was upset, like when I would finally crack, it would be the thing. I'd say, nobody loves me, just nobody loves me, nobody loves me, because there was nobody really nurturing me and showing up for me on a consistent basis. My grandma, thank God for her. She was an angel. And when she was there or when I saw her, it was great. But that was like 1 or 2 times a month, you know, like in the scheme of a little girl's life, I was so fleeting. It was just not enough. And I'm not saying my dad didn't say I love you or didn't show he loved me by providing, you know, for us a roof over our head and food on the table. I'm not saying that. It's just I didn't feel loved at all. Like I really didn't. And I carried that wound into relationships. I didn't feel loved. And I felt like the very first time I ever in my life felt love was the birth of my oldest son. It was something so different. It was a love, and he was born in a very chaotic manner. He was born 2.5 months early. He was premature. He had heart defects. He required heart surgery. He was hospitalized in a NICU for years, blood transfusion. He died in front of my eyes, came back to life. I mean, just crazy and volatile. But when I looked at that kid, that little baby, that little helpless thing, it was the first time I ever felt loved. And it really felt so grateful to feel that experience. I had felt like everybody else who had loved me for a condition, loved me for a time, loved me for my acts of service, loved me for what I could offer. And when there was nothing more to offer, the love left in whatever way. This is, the story I told myself. Nobody ever said this or confirmed this. This is just exactly how I had felt. And so the symbolism for this love rock, as I've talked about here, why it means so much to me is in this process of healing, in this process of connecting with my inner child, and in this process of rediscovering who I was. Like I had became Natasha, like I'm the mom of, literally I would close emails like mom of this person, wife of this person. Like I wasn't really a person. I was a shell of a human that kind of felt like she was just serving other people and waiting to see what other people wanted, needed, and would respond and react because of that accordingly. I had to make things easier myself, just didn't have opinions, didn't have desires, didn't have wants or any of those things, because if I did, then I would be disappointed if it wasn't in alignment with somebody else, and I didn't want to be the one to hurt them. And so, like I said, I was very almost abusive to myself, and the things like, I was very overweight. I was 300 pounds. I would be rude to myself internally, like, why are you eating that? Why are you doing that? It was just very critical and harsh to myself. And yeah, it was just a really tough time. And so I finally, thank goodness, it took an unfortunate situation, but I came to where I am now as a result of that. And what I'm trying to say is in that process, I found one of the most important things out. I found that love I kept looking for Chris to give me, or my dad, or a friend, or somebody else in this world to give me, the reason why I wasn't feeling it was because I wasn't giving it to myself. Like I had finally realized that all that love I was seeking from somebody else, I had it all along. It was inside of me. And once I realized that and I felt it, then I realized that all the external things were cherries on top. Like the love I received from Chris, or the love I received from my dad, or my kids, or you, or anybody else, it is beautiful. It is lovely. But the love I have for myself inside is pure. It is air. It is a life force of its own. And it is sustainable on its own. And everything else, it just enriches and makes life better. So I love having all of the forms, but the key was that. And I think it's the same thing that goes like for happiness. I used to depend on somebody else's happiness to be happy. If my kids were happy, I was happy. If Chris was happy, I was happy. But if they weren't happy, then I wasn't happy. And if they, and it was just, if they're mad, I'm mad now. And so becoming this kind of chameleon, I was really at the mercy of other people. When you live in a house with 6 people, sometimes there was 7 people living here. Sometimes there was 8 people living here. We have had a lot of people live here and stay here and stay for long times. That's a lot of personalities to take on, right? In a time span. And so finally having this permission to just be me, to unapologetically be me, and to realize that some people are not going to like me. Some people are going to be frustrated I'm no longer of service to them. And just as many people I've had to say goodbye to, I've 10x'd the people I've said hello to. And I have some great friends from high school still that I keep in contact with. And I've been a lot better now that, I don't have that pressure from Chris to not hang out with them. I've been a lot better about making time for those friends, those older friendships that before I used to be like, no, I'm not going to go. No, I can't, because I don't want to upset Chris. And so I've been a lot better about keep maintaining those connections. And it's been really important in this part of the journey for me to know and feel love from people that have known me since I was a little girl, young kid, to before I was married, to after, during my marriage, and now after. And, I think that's a beautiful thing. And then also all the new friends that I have that, have been so supportive. I had a girlfriend today that I work out with the gym, and she happens to work here, and only until next week, but she was like, you want to go for a walk here? And it was just so nice to chat. We just talked about her vacation, and she fell. I mean, it was just nice to chat and walk, and it not be anything that, we didn't need to delve into any of the things that are kind of going on in my life. It was just nice. And I really, really appreciated it. And, the friends that have been checking in on me and checking in on my kids and making sure that we're okay, and offering support in any way that they can. I just feel that extra cherry on top love. And at this time, that's such an important thing for me and my family. And, but again, it's one of those days where, it's hit me. And, I did a good amount of writing, and it's hard when emotions are running in your body, right? We're emotional beings. We have these little feelings, and my default setting, my right-handed setting, was to not sit with it, right? It was to run away from it, or, drink it away when I was young, or, whatever it was, like TV it away, eat it away, whatever, delve into somebody else's problem so much away. And so sitting with it is, I know, very healing, but it's a challenge. Like, it's a challenge to be like, I'm going to sit with this emotion today. And, sometimes, like I say, I've been mad, and sometimes I've been sad, and sometimes I have been like nothing, like a lethargic, and sometimes I've been relieved, and sometimes I've been glad, and sometimes I have hope again, and sometimes I have hope again that our relationship would go back, and sometimes I have hope that, I just am in peace. Sometimes, like there's regret, like, I had a question, and yesterday my son had posed, what's your biggest regret? And right now my answer was, before I would have said, not going to my sister's wedding. That is always, for a while has been my biggest regret. Talked about that on here. And now it's like, my regret is that I didn't do more to keep my family together. And I know it's not just up to me. I know that there's two people, but maybe there was an area where I could have been 1% better. And maybe if I was 1% better in that relationship, then maybe the way our relationship and dynamic ended up being would have been different. And there's no one to say it. Like, I don't have a crystal ball, and in order to move forward, I can't keep looking back. But I really want to learn, because either if I ever wound up with Chris again, or if I ever wound up with somebody else again, or if I wound up alone, I don't view this relationship as a mistake. I don't view it as something bad, even though it's currently failing. Like, it's not bad. Like, it, there's a lesson there. And if I fail to sit here with this lesson, then I'm probably going to repeat it. And so I think that the disappointment is a test, right? Like, it isn't the end result. It's a test. And part of the test today, I feel disappointment. I'm disappointed in the way things have happened. I'm disappointed in the way that I feel about, you know, the situation. Just, I feel disappointed. I'm disappointed that, you know, my son works really hard and he can't find a team to represent him. You know, one of his contacts said they went with somebody else, and, you know, I'm disappointed for him because I know how hard he's worked. I know how hard he's reached out to things, and you know, I feel like in this time, like, we just need a win. You know, I'm disappointed that my other son, who has been, like I've chronicled on here, coming back from this knee injury, and, you know, what we thought was going to be 6 weeks has now been well over 8 months. And I think 8 months. Yeah, March, April, May, well over 9 months. And, you know, he's still in physical therapy. He's still falling on it, and, you know, it gets hurt. And, you know, he came home kind of melancholy today, and, you know, I just feel disappointed. I feel disappointed. My daughter's out of town, and, you know, I've reached out to her a couple times, and I know she's out of town, but even like a hi mom, you know, I feel disappointed about that. You know, it's just tough. I'm, you know, like, I'm doing things, and I'm getting through. I'm having to, you know, look through legal documents and paperwork and things like this. And I'm just disappointed because I didn't want to go down this route, and I don't want to go down this route, but I also am in a predicament where I need to advocate for myself and my son and my other children. And I don't want to be bullied, and I don't want somebody to just tell me what they're going to do. I want to be a part of the equation. I'm not irreasonable, whatever that word is, irrational, and I'm not, you know, asking for the moon. I am well aware of what there is, which isn't a whole hell of a lot. We've never lived an opulent life to begin with, but I do believe that, you know, my sacrifices as a mom who like, my kids have been through so many challenges. They've been through brain surgery. They've been through heart surgery. I've seen them die. I've seen them come alive. I've been through knee surgeries. I've been through physical therapy. I've taken them to 99.9% of things, peanut allergy trials, and, you know, vision appointment, like mental health appointments. I have done it all with them. Dermatologists, I mean, you name it, we've been there. And I've been there with them. And all that, plus I was also helping start this business from the ground up. I was helping advertise, finding contracts, hiring employees, then firing employees. Like, I did it all while I was doing this, and I did so much. And so it hurts that the person, and why would I think he would think he doesn't want to be with me, right? Like, he didn't want to try. So, like, I have to, like, rationalize in my mind, but, like, that there isn't a value to him for that. And it's just hurtful. And I can't change somebody, all right? I can't judge them, but I'm disappointed. And it just hurts. And so today is a day where I feel a little on the disappointed side. And, you know, I don't know what to do with it. And I do know this, that if I am sitting here with it, it's because, you know what? Things that happened were out of my control. I didn't meet the goal I wanted of keeping my family together. You know, there's a lot that's going on. And as I move through it, right, I'm not going to sit in the disappointment forever. I'm going to acknowledge what it is. I'm going to write about it. I'm going to think about it. I'm going to come on here and chat about it. It isn't going to be the definer of me. The situation, this disappointment, isn't going to define me. I mean, I just got back. I took a walk with my son, which I'm so grateful for, right? Like, I can look at where there's some positive, happy, good things that are happening in my life. And he just had some great advice. And he was like, yeah, I mean, it's frustrating and it's disappointing that I don't have a team. However, I'm just going to have to go about it another way. And I don't need a team to compete in most things. In a couple things you do, which is disappointing, right? Again, but for most things you don't. So I'm just going to have to go that route and do that again. And that's fine. That's an option as well. So, you know, and he just really reframed it in such a way that it was like, I know this is happening for me. And I know that, I'm just going to keep going ahead. I'm not going to let it set me back. And so that was the reminder. And that's what I want to remind you here, that like, it is okay to have your experience. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with you if you're feeling disappointment. It's not wrong with whatever your experience is. It's how do we respond to it, right? Like, I believe now in my experience and where I am right now in my journey, like sitting with it is uncomfortable, it's painful, and it's annoying, right? Like, who wants to feel that way? You know me, like I'm a happy, high energy creature and being, and that's the state I like to be in, and that's the state I long to be in. And sometimes life's. And this is a big adjustment that's only been going on for a couple weeks officially, despite whatever was happening in the beginning of the year. And, for, like I said, for years we were in therapy and, we were going on dates and we were trying to make this work for our family. And despite our best efforts, yet here we are. And so I could say I'm really proud that we did try what we tried, because we could have gave up years ago and we would have always wondered why, right? Like wondered if, because even still now I wonder if I would have tried more, if I would have did this, and if I would have done that. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. And I have to believe that out there's a reason this is happening. I have to believe that this is the best for myself and for my kids. I have to believe that this is probably even best for Chris. Like, I have to believe that and move forward and accept the situation I'm in, and being able to say that this disappointment is okay. Like, there is a lesson, and what is that lesson in there? And being able to really embrace it and take it as I move forward in the next steps of the journey. So it's part of the process. It's part of the grieving process. It's part of the experience of change. Like I say, when we change, there's pain. And like when I went from being 300 pounds to where I am now, I didn't get here without pain. I didn't get here without my muscles hurting and without, feeling disappointed because on a certain week I ate really clean and I ate really well and I exercised and I somehow gained weight. Like, it didn't make sense always on a rational, like logical way. But when I sat back and I thought about it, well, that week was a really stressful week. That week I was really hormonal. That week, these things happened. And then it made more sense as to why my body was holding on to weight. Part of the journey where I'm at now has been not what I'm doing physically. Like, again, I will tell anybody over and over, the physical is beautiful, right? Like, it is such a relief. But I would trade, if I had to pick between the way I look versus the way I feel, without a question, a million times you ask me, and a million times I'm going to answer the way I feel. Even today, on a day that's challenging, I still feel a gazillion times better than I used to. And I owe that to the process. Like, I owe that to trusting the process. And part of trusting the process is having the confidence to know that I could lose the weight, I could start the YouTube channel, I can get through a divorce. I can do these things. I can do hard things. I may not always want to, and the change may not always be initiated by me, because I take a long time to change sometimes. I take a long time to be like, okay, now I'm fed up, or, I really just keep going. And my loyalty sometimes gets the best of me. But if I honor who I am, if I live a life that makes me proud, if I leave everything on the table and say, this is my one shot, this is my last chance, I'm going to go for it without any fears, any of those things. I'm just going to be me. And I'm really grateful. And I think being able to say that, like, I'm grateful that there's so many things that even amidst this time where it's filled with all this uncertainty, I have so much to be grateful for. I still have power right now. I am recording here and I had Christmas lights on earlier, and I didn't have them on for the usual amount of time because, I'm trying to be conservative, but we had Christmas lights on, and I went for a walk with my son, and the other son I got to talk to, like, one-on-one, and help him ordering gifts for his girlfriend that lives in another state. Another son last night, I was up to within till 2 in the morning chatting with him, and then the next thing you know, we're downstairs and he's making a grilled cheese sandwich, like, at 2 in the morning, and we're just laughing. And I'm so grateful for those moments that I am blessed with them, because at the end of the day, that's what matters. Like, it doesn't matter the people that don't want to be here. Like, why am I giving somebody who doesn't want to be here that much of my energy and attention? If he wanted to be here, he'd be here. And if he doesn't, then he doesn't. And I need to say goodbye and let you go, because I don't want to be forced in a place that I don't want to be. There's no other place I want to be in this world right now than here with my kids. I mean, maybe I'd like to be on a vacation with my kids, but, being with my kids, there's no other place. There's no other person. There's no other thing that's more important. Yeah, I will go to my dance class, or I'll go and, go have big cookies with my high school friends. But overall, this is where my heart is. This is my home. This is my heart. This is my life. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. There's no one or no feeling someone can give me that can replace these minutes with them. It's finite. I mean, my kids are getting older, and I know it doesn't seem like it, but at some point they are going to move out and move on. And I only get this time once in my lifetime. They'll be different, if they ever moved back again. Like, things change and life changes. And so I'm really grateful for the fact that the way life worked out for all of us, that during this tumultuous time, originally I was like, I wish we all weren't together in here and they were all settled. But I think that there is something beautiful, because what we have always done as Russos, we have always come together. We may not always agree. We may be loud and boisterous and opinionated and whatever we all are. But we have always come together, my kids and I. No matter what has happened, no matter who has went down, there is somebody making a card, there is somebody buying the snacks, there is somebody there. We are all coming together, lifting a leg, helping out in whatever possible way we can. And so watching back today's episode, in the past, was such a reminder that I'm of the gratitude I have for the amount of resiliency these resilient Russos have, and the amount of unity we have. And so having these extra conversations, may have not transpired had this situation not happened. So at the end of the day, I have faith that I'm going to be more than okay. I have faith that my kids will be more than okay. And yeah, things may look different. I may have to, make adjustments and get a job, and maybe I'm only recording a couple times a week, or whatever it is I need to do. I will do what I need to do to get by and get us through this trial. And I will fight for what I'm supposed to fight for, because I don't feel like I should be left with all of the marital debts and all the expenses of an entire household and, be kind of just left high and dry. I feel like I deserve something. And so at this point in time, I don't want to fight, but I will. And I will leave that to the attorneys and the judges to figure out. Like, I'm not going to continue to just waste my energy trying to negotiate. I need to make the decision and say yes and go on, so that I can move forward and keep using my energy in the positive and light that I want and with the people I want, instead of trying to beg somebody to understand that this is not a livable wage in this state. Like, my gas is $5 a gallon, that, for something almost $5 a gallon. So I need the additional support, and my kids need that. And that was, his role until, a recent time. So anyways, whosville, whatsville. But anyways, I would say, so disappointment. I know we've all felt it. It's upsetting, it's not a positive thing that we're like, yay, I'm feeling disappointed today. However, I do feel that emotion is packed with lessons. And I think that there are so many things to be grateful for, even in that experience. And when we start focusing on the things and shift the way we're putting our energy it makes us feel a little better. Like, I'm grateful right now for my friend who gave me lemons. Like, they smell so good, and they were in my gym bag, so I need to, which is clean. Like, obviously, it doesn't have much in there, just a gym bag and some hand sanitizer. But you know, it had the lemons, and they smell so good, and they smell so fresh. And even on these cold winter days, they just look so cheery and happy. And so I appreciate that so much. Like, there's so much good, like, out there. And so the more we open our eyes to see the good, the more good we are going to see. So I say all this to say thank you for tuning in. I know, like, I don't need to apologize or anything like that. I know the spirit and the vibe of these episodes have been a little bit more somber than, you know, my previous things. I even watch it back and I'm like, look at her glow. Like, look at her go. She is glowing up right there. But that's life. There's seasons and there's reasons, and I'm in a winter season right now, and in this winter season there's a lot of change. It's winter, no, it's fall actually still right now, but it feels like winter. It's cold, but you know, I'm in this season, whatever when it is, and there are a lot of changes happening, and I understand that change is good, that change is painful, but a lot of good comes from it. So I just got to keep my head up. I got to steer my course and know and trust in the process. And I ask of you to do the same. So is there something that's disappointed you and you've overcome it? Like, what are some of your tactics? What are some of your things that you are grateful for learning in that disappointment? I would love it if you would share below, like, subscribe, all those good things. And thank you for staying all the way to this end. So if you can do me one huge favor, please go out there today, give somebody a big smile, give them a compliment, and just watch how they glow up. So thank you so much. Bye. Never wants to go.